everywhere. What's this? There's white things in the air.
All synchronized music live, orchestra, choir, and all the songs obviously done by myself and all the most of the original cast. This will be the entire movie synchronized from top to bottom.
Surrounded little creatures laughing, everybody seems so happy. Have I possibly gone down? What is this? What's this?
Incredibly tough. More than, because I've done 2 or 3 movies sunk live orchestra to picture, but generally in a film you have a cue of music, it stops. Maybe there's 30 seconds, maybe there's 3 minutes or 5 minutes before the next cue. And so the musicians have a chance to reset, get their other music up, the conductor is like now prepared for the next cue, and they begin. In Nightmare Before Christmas, it's one of those movies that the music is almost nonstop. There's a couple of little breaks. There's no place to change music. There's no place to reset. It's almost like doing a 75-minute piece of music with just a few little breaks. So it's incredibly difficult. In fact, to the point where we thought it might be impossible when we started trying to do it. It's not like I'd been performing these songs for many years. I'd only sung them once when I wrote them for the movie, and I never sang them again. I never sang them live ever. So it actually has been kind of fun, and I realized that, okay, this isn't like revisiting, listening to my old music. This is performing, but I'm performing Jack Skellington, and Jack Skellington is someone I really like. And Jack Skellington's parts, his character, is something I'm enjoying doing. So I'm going, okay, this is a bit of musical theater. It's a character that I helped create, and it's a character that I really love. And so while I'm enjoying it, I'll do it, and then I won't. Tim Burton definitely created the character of Jack Skellington. I don't want to give any misinterpretation. He came to me, and he had the story of what happens, and he had these beautiful drawings, and we used to talk through the story. We had no script. We didn't know how to start a musical, so we just was like, well, let's just start writing songs. And I began the first of what became 10 songs, and we figured we'd just tell as much of the story in song as possible, and then we deal with the script later, because there was no screenplay writer on at that time. So I just started doing it, and it took about 3 days per song. He'd come in, I'd play him the song, great, and he'd tell me the next part of the story. Now Jack is wandering in the forest, and he comes upon these 3 trees with a door in each one. He gets sucked into the door, and I'm going, okay, yeah, I get it. Okay, go. 3 days later, okay, here's the song. And now what happens? Well, now he's like, and I said, just tell me the story like you're telling it to a nephew in front of a bedtime or something. And he did, and that's how we created Nightmare Before Christmas. But Jack's story was something I felt personally at that time, because I was in a rock band, and when you're a writer and lead singer in a rock band, you are king of your own little world, Halloween Town, or the world you've created. And I wanted out. I really wanted out. I knew that it was just killing my hearing being on stage, and I had deafness in the family, and I said, this is just not going to go well for me. But also, I just wanted something else. I mean, even if I didn't have a hearing problem, I was searching for something else, just like Jack. So when Jack, this character, came to me, and he's like the king of his own town, but the kingdom is no longer working for him, and he's searching for something else, I started just writing it from my own perspective, almost like autobiographical in a weird way. I recorded all the demos with Tim. We did this one long night where we went in the studio, and I recorded every single part for every song but Sally. But I sang all the little parts, the big parts, and all of Jack's songs. And in the process of singing that stuff, I was starting to get really attached to it. And it was like, Tim, I know that we never talked about this, but, and he's like, yeah, don't worry, I think you got it. It's a miracle, because the film didn't do well when it came out. Disney did not know what it was. They didn't know how to market it. We only had one preview for kids. The film was not quite finished. They did a preview, and kids were like, we don't know what this is. And I remember hearing them in the elevator on the way out say, well, kids hate it. Yep, kids hate it. It came out and, did marginally okay. But it was so disappointing, because I'd spent two and a half years of my life on this. And then the most amazing thing started happening, which never happens in movies. It started a life of its own. And it was like 10 years later, and Tim and I were in Japan, in Tokyo, for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And we see there's Jack Skellington and Sally and toys everywhere. There's merchandise everywhere, things he'd never seen before. And there was a club dedicated to Nightmare Before Christmas in Tokyo. And we'd started to hear about, like, people were sending us videos of their kids singing the songs and stuff like that. It was starting to grow on its own. And Disney was smart enough to pick up on that vibe. And they started re-releasing the movie. And it just developed its own life. So it's something that is so rare. It happens once in a blue moon. Does a movie come along that gets a second chance, a second life? And this was just one of them. So it was just very lucky. The stage fright will never leave. It's one of those things. It's just like there are people who just can go out there and it's like, yeah, and I'm not one of them. I'm one of those, I naturally want to hide underground or under rocks or in shadows. I'm comfortable in shadows. I'm not even comfortable when people recognize me. And I don't know why that is, because I know other performers and I see how they light up when people recognize them. And if somebody calls out my name, my first reaction is hide. Find the thing, duck under cover. It's like, I always perpetually feel like I'm being hunted, and I'm an animal that lives underground and comes up at night and then goes back underground. So when I'm caught in a flashlight, my reaction is startled and like, where's the hole that I can dive back under? It's just what I am.
Oh look, what's this? The hanging mistletoe. They kiss? Why, that looks so unique.
It's fun bringing film music into live concerts. It's a great challenge. It's a hugely complicated thing, but I'm always like, I don't conduct and I don't want to pretend to conduct, but here I have something I could actually do. I'm performing. I'm coming out there for a reason. I have an intention on stage, and I'm bringing these songs to people who are really enjoying them, and I'm enjoying being that character delivering them. So it's a good thing right now. And I still like Jack.